What exactly are thoughts and feelings? Well, it's a bit complicated because they are hard to describe because both are abstract concepts. But I will do my best to separate and describe them as best as I can. People may wonder which came first, thoughts or emotions. Well, if we consider human development from baby to adult, humans come first, then thinking second. You come into the world crying. You don't come into the world reciting quadratic formula or Shakespearean iambic pentameter. It's a bit complicated though. As we age, the two eventually intertwine. Our thoughts can alter our own emotions, and our emotions can alter our thoughts pretty seamlessly. One of the difficulties of describing the flow is due to how life goes. Life is a continuous stream of life events that lead from one to the other. Same with our thoughts. They are a continuous stream. It's impossible to fully separate one thought from the next. In general, though, thoughts exist on the forefront of your mind. Whenever you daydream a scenario, whenever you try to do a math problem or try to remember a word, or even your narrator's voice while reading a book, the important part is recognizing that it's on the forefront. It's slow, methodical, and analytical. Thinking is often done in a very linear fashion. One point of data will flow to the next. The more points of data you know, the more conclusions you can create, but they will always be done by creating a new linear line of logic. When we prioritize thinking, we try to predict possibilities based on the most logical and reasonable outcome. Emotions exist in the subconscious. Some of the most well-known would be happiness, anger, stress, sadness. These are things that we don't automatically recognize, but they will produce a response from our bodies. Many of our emotional responses actually affect our bodies. Stress can increase heart rate or prevent sleep. Depression can affect our sleep schedules and destroy our motivation. Anger fills us with motivation and can make us more impulsive. Happiness can actually make us more creative and improve our decision making, affecting not just mentality, but improving efficiency. Emotions are not logical and seem squishy, more complex. Every emotion can become every emotion somehow. 2 plus 3 can equal monkey. Why? I don't know. Maybe it's cute, maybe it's fluffy. It doesn't make logical sense, but your emotions will think that. Emotions are hard to identify because they can very easily occupy the same space, like oil and water that's been mixed together. You can tell it's not the same, but it's hard to separate. It's very possible to be angry, happy, and sad all at the same time. They are also hard to identify because we have different words to classify different levels and variants of emotions. Similar to a water balloon, it's not so much the sensation, but the amount of the sensation that changes the description. For example, irritation, annoyance, anger, disgust, and hatred all fit under the umbrella of anger. But the key difference between them all is simply the amount of anger. The representation of fire here is a decent example. Another point is that we don't have enough words to describe every emotion. There are actually 2 different variants of disgust. One that is associated with biology, like drinking 1-week-old spoiled milk left out in the sun. The other is associated with people, place, or things, where looking at them gives you the ick. Technically, the gross feeling is the same, but the motivation that creates the emotions are different, producing a different effect. When we prioritize feeling, we imagine expectations and try to work towards our hopes and dreams. Our ultimate goal is our own personal happiness. A decent oversimplified analogy is like this. Thoughts are what appear on the computer screen. Emotions would be like a coding language. But we can go deeper. Below that is our binary code, or source code that keeps us alive. This will include breathing, heartbeat, and digestion. What we eat and how we eat it can affect our mood, which affects our thoughts. Our environment influences us when we don't think it does. But we can even go deeper. A bacteria digests food. An organism with no brain, impulses, desires, memories, or sensations must eat. So it does. What is the mechanism that creates this basic drive? What is this basic drive called? Something below wants, needs, and instincts. A fungus is able to make its way towards food without a brain or central nervous system to try to survive and eat. This instinct exists deep within us, and it affects us as well. Now, if we think about how all of our thoughts and emotions are interconnected, and when we think of the world and a society, the things that motivate us can be theoretically infinite. We can have thoughts powering thoughts, emotions powering emotions, and motivators powering motivators. Note, a motivator is simply a conscious or subconscious thought or emotion from a prior event that creates or influences our thoughts and emotions today. Now, this is still just the basics. There are many layers that I need to discuss and talk about. We can still go deeper, but that will be in the next video.